Today we are going to talk about the different types of giant cell, and before going through the types of giant cell, I want to tell some words about neutrophil extracellular trap, which is also called as beneficial suicide. So if you see this picture, then you can come to know that a lot of bacteria, they are trapping by the cytoplasm and by the nucleus of neutrophil. So in some infectious conditions, when there will be a lot of microorganisms, especially the bacteria inside the body, then neutrophils, they try to clear them uh, in an effective way by killing or by doing suicide. So if you say that this one is a neutrophil, and then what are the green things? These are the cytoplasm. So the neutrophil throwing the cytoplasm outside, and it's also throwing the nucleus outside. So this cytoplasm and the nucleus, they trap multiple bacteria and kill them. As a result of this, hence the neutrophil is throwing its intracellular content, so there will be death of the neutrophil. But this death of the neutrophil is beneficial because it is killing a lot of bacteria. That's why it is called as the beneficial suicide. So if you want to read the description, you can say that neutrophil extracellular traps, the NETs are characterized as extracellular DNA fibers comprises of histone and cytoplasmic granular proteins. NETs were first discovered as a form of innate response against a pathogen invasion, which can capture pathogens, degrade bacterial toxins, toxin factors, and kill the bacteria. The neutrophil with the nuclei stained red, as I showed here, and cytoplasm green. Network of extracellular fibers primarily composed of DNA from the neutrophil, which bind pathogens for killing them extracellularly and minimizing the damage to the host. In this process, the nuclei will lost and causing death of the neutrophil, so-called beneficial suicide. Now moving toward our today's main topic, that is different types of giant cell. So before the types, you must have an idea about the giant cell. What are the giant cells? So whenever there will be chronic inflammation, then for the body, for the immune cells, it is difficult to remove the bacteria. If I take an example of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, it's a resistive bacteria and usually cause chronic inflammation of lungs. So in this condition, neutrophils will not work. Even the macrophages, they face difficulty in destroying the bacteria. That's why a focal inflammatory area along with specialized cells and a necrotic material is formed, and this is what we call as the granuloma. So what are the content of granuloma? The bacteria and the necrotic material in the center. Then there will be a lot of lymphocytes, which is called as the collar of lymphocyte with a big nuclei. Then there will be macrophages, and specialized macrophage with elongated nuclei or elongated shape is called as the epithelioid cell. And the more important point here is there will be a bigger cell with multiple nuclei. How this form? When the bacteria become so resistive, then a lot of macrophages, they will decide to fuse together and to form a bigger cell, so they will release enough enzyme and can destroy the bacteria more effectively inside the germ cell. So germ cell is a bigger cell with multiple nuclei. Depending upon the arrangement of the nuclei, we can call Langerhans germ cell and foreign body germ cell. So let's go and see in this image. If you see in this image, you can find huge cell with multiple nuclei arranged in the periphery, which is giving the appearance of horseshoe and central cytoplasm, along with collar of lymphocytes. Along with some elongated cell, which are called epithelioid cells, and this is the granuloma, and this one is the germ cell. As the nucleus is arranged in the periphery like a horseshoe, that's why it is called as the horseshoe germ cell or Langerhans germ cell. So if you go for the description, then it is a Langerhans germ cell. Langerhans germ cells are large cells found in the granulomatous conditions. They are formed by the fusion of epithelioid or the macrophage cells and contain nuclei arranged in a horseshoe shape pattern in the cell periphery. So this is something about the Langerhans germ cell. Now if you compare that image with this one, you can find even all the type of cells. You can find macrophages, you can find lymphocytes, you can find some sort of elongated epithelioid cells, as well as a bigger cell with multiple nuclei. But the nuclei is not arranged in a correct sequence, correct pattern. So there will be haphazard arrangement of the nucleus, and this is called as the foreign body germ cell. So what are the features of foreign body germ cell? A foreign body germ cell is a collection of fused macrophages having many haphazard nuclei which are generated in response to the presence of large foreign body. This is particularly evident with catheter, parasites or biomaterials that are inserted into the body for the replacement or regeneration of diseased or damaged tissues. So this type of germ cell usually can see in conditions when the foreign bodies, they are inserted or they because of some trauma or because of some other reasons get into the body. The foreign body germ cells are formed through signaling from interleukin 3, interleukin 4 and interleukin 13. So these two are responsible for the formation of germ cell and may fuse to produce multinucleated cells up to 200 nuclei with its within the cytoplasm. So it was about the foreign body germ cell. Now if you try to see this image, you can come to know that this is the lungs growth sample. And what are these cheesy material? So these cheesy material are nothing but they are the Acacious necrosis. So it is a type of necrosis which is called as the Acacious necrosis, which is specific for tuberculosis. So it's Acacious necrosis. Acacious necrosis is a unique form of cell death in which the tissue maintains a cheese-like appearance. It is also a distinctive form of a coagulative necrosis. So we can say that a cheesy necrosis or Acacious necrosis is a combination of coagulative necrosis as well as the liquefactive necrosis. The dead tissue appears as a soft white proteinaceous dead cell mass seen in case of tuberculosis. If I take a sample and see under microscope, I can find this image. So what I can find here, I can find a central necrotic highly eosinophilic area. So this is the necrotic material. A lot of inflammatory cells, especially a collar of lymphocyte. Then I can find this type of cell with multiple nucleus, which is arranged in the periphery. So this is a giant cell. So look at this. So this is a giant cell. Which type of giant cell? It's a Langerhans giant cell or horseshoe giant cell. And what does the whole thing mean? Necrotic material, lymphocytic infiltrations, lot of macrophages, giant cell. So this is the TB granuloma. So what is TB granuloma? TB granuloma is an organized aggregate of immune cells, are defining feature of TB. It consists mainly in the recruitment at the infectious stage of macrophages, highly differentiated cells such as multinucleated giant cells, epithelioid cells. Sometimes we can also find foam cells with central necrotic region, and all these cells being surrounded by a rim of lymphocytes, which is called as the collar of lymphocyte. Next type of granuloma is a very special and very unique type of granuloma, a star-shaped granuloma. Necrotic material, a lot of inflammatory cells, even here. So this is what we call is the satellite granuloma. And the main point about this granuloma is it's a neutrophilic granuloma. In other granuloma we cannot find neutrophil, but here we can find neutrophils. So about the features, it's a stellate granuloma or neutrophilic abscess giving star-shaped appearance, nuclear dusting surrounded by eosinophilic material, nuclear dusting surrounded by the eosinophilic area, seen in cat scratch disease and lymphogranuloma venereum. It's a neutrophilic granuloma. Next type of granuloma is also a special type of granuloma. So if we try to compare, try to see this giant cell, we can find that these are the multiple nuclei with central pinkish cytoplasm, which is normal, and outside the cytoplasm is foamy appearance or little bit clearing. So it's mean these giant cells are loaded with fat or lipid molecules. It means that they are working on that site where lipid content is high, like in case of fat necrosis, in case of xanthoma, where a lot of fat molecules start to deposit under the skin. So these are the giant cell with central pinkish cytoplasm along with foamy cytoplasm outside a rim of a nucleus, and this type of giant cell is called as Tottens giant cell, and the granuloma is called as Tottens granuloma. Now if you come toward the description, it's a Tottens granuloma. Totten giant cells are the type of multinucleated giant cells seen in the lesions with high lipid content such as fat necrosis, xanthoma, xanthelasma and xanthogranulomas. There is a layer of normal centrally located cytoplasm surrounded by a rim of a nuclei, which is further surrounded by foamy or pale cytoplasmic layer. This is a type of granuloma, which we can see in case of sarcoidosis, which is a systemic chronic inflammation which involve multiple organs. So here we can see these are the collagen fibers, collagen depositions, a lot of collagen fibers, and here we can see granuloma, but there will be no color of lymphocyte. Normally we can see that there is a color of lymphocyte, granuloma, some macrophages, necrotic material, but in this case there will be no color of lymphocyte. So absent color of lymphocyte means it's a naked granuloma. A naked granuloma can see in case of sarcoidosis. So look at the description. Naked granuloma, sarcoidal granuloma also called, comprised of aggregates of epithelioid histiocytes, little or no necrotic material, but there is no color of lymphocyte infiltration. So this is the important point. While multinucleated cells may be identified, no specific type is associated exclusively with sarcoidal granuloma. Next type of granuloma, or we cannot say this one is granuloma, we can say a giant cell. So this type of special giant cell we can find in viral disease called as measles. So measles is a viral disease of children where multiple rashes are formed on the body. So in that condition we can find such giant cell with multiple spread or scattered or clustered nuclei. That's why it is also called as the mulberry form, and with some eosinophilic inclusions inside the cytoplasm and inside the nucleus as well. So these inclusions are viral inclusions. These are the viruses. And this type of giant cell is called Warthin-Finkelday giant cell. So Warthin-Finkelday cells are multinucleated giant cells having appearance of a grape-like or mulberry form. These are large cells enclosing multiple round irregular sized nucleus having inconspicuous nuclei seen in measles. Eosinophilic viral inclusions inside the cytoplasm and nucleus are also seen. So this was something about the granulomas. Thank you so much.